Hey guys, so today I'm going to be looking at the saddest things someone has seen in prison. So yeah, let's just get right into the video. As a kid, I went to juvie for accidentally setting some woods on fire. Bonfire out of control situation. And my cellmate was only a few years older than me. He was super nice, laid back guy. We got along great and even sort of became friends while there. I was just a kid, so I didn't really ask any questions about different colors of jumpsuits and people's reasons for being there. The day I got out, I found out he was there for murder. Apparently, he got really tired of his stepdad physically abusing him and he killed him. I never really knew all the details, but I can tell you that when I'm talking to him, he seemed like a good kid at heart. Had things and people that he cared about, things he wanted to do, interests, etc. The guards obviously must have known, but they were always super nice to him, noticeably so, even more so than other inmates. I always wondered what happened to him. Yo, that's so sad. Honestly, I would never see this as like actual murder. I would almost see this as self-defense, especially if it's just a kid trying to get out of a situation. Man, that is sad. I hope he doesn't spend his life in prison. When I was young, juvie, I was 15 or 16 at the time. Most of us there were older teens. 11-year-old kid was brought in for throwing rocks in one of his teacher's homes. Had an older fat guard who worked there. These were generally civilian guards, given we were juveniles. Well, this guy named Travis started being weird with the kid. At first, kid was like any other 11-year-old, happy-go-lucky. Travis got really handsy with him. At mealtimes, he was like actively rubbing on him. We all saw it. It was a lockdown facility, so we weren't let out of ourselves much either, but we all witnessed it. Guy was like rubbing his back, touching his leg. Within a few days, kid's whole attitude changed. We all do. Travis was molesting him, even though we couldn't prove it. None of the guards did anything? Like, no one knew how. How do you not know? Why is an 11-year-old put with like actual teenagers? I feel like 11-year-olds and 16-year-olds should have been put together. What the hell? I knew a guy who was never in trouble in his life. He was working in the automotive industry in Michigan and lost his job. He fell behind with child support payments and ended up doing time in jail. His very first night, his two cellmates got into an argument because one of them couldn't find his bear claw snack. They finally stopped arguing and went to sleep. In the middle of the night, he was woken up by the guy beating the guy he accused of theft. He literally beat the guy to death. Apparently, he had gotten a hold of some kind of pole or stick. The entire cell was just completely covered in blood. They end up finding out that the guy he accused of stealing it didn't steal it afterwards. I will never forget the fear and look in the guy's eyes when he told me what happened. Yo, that's so scary. But wow, I didn't know that being behind in child support will end you up in jail. And seriously, don't accuse someone without any proof. I went to a county for about a week in the middle of nowhere, Kansas on a drug charge. I was 19 years old, scared shitless. It was a room with about 4 communal picnic benches and 2 rooms on either side with about 6 bunks in them. I noticed one was full and the other had just one guy in there. So not understanding the situation at all, I went over to the empty bunks and a guy grabbed my shoulder and just gave me a hard look that said no, but without saying a word. Then I noticed the other prisoners were camped out in corners on the mattress. I did the same. Found out quickly that the solo guy was in for a crime against a child. I have never heard such an ass whooping that night. I just covered my ears and stared at the wall. How did I get here? And the sobbing and pleading. I was bonded out the next day. So they all beat him up? Yes! Honestly, deserved it. Hanging out one day in the law library. All of a sudden, some kid who was fresh came in minding his own business and just started reading something. One of my boys who was also in there, mind you, I'd been locked up for over a year at this point with this dude. He was chill and in there for coke dealing. Got up, walked over to the younger kid and beat him. Like, not just knocked him out, I'm saying literally beat the life out of him. Blood flying everywhere. The kid was on the ground and dude just kept smashing his face in. I got up and just stepped back and watched so I wouldn't get jumped when they came in. They literally dragged this lifeless kid away and cuffed the dude I knew. I saw him once more before I got out and I asked him what happened that day. All he said was, I felt like effing somebody up. Needless to say, I've had serious trust issues since then, and since being locked up in general, seeing that literal 18-year-old get beat to death in front of me was pretty effed. Oh my god. Well, he better spend life in prison, seriously, for doing that, right? Oh, that's so sad. It was just reading, minding his own business, and someone just starts beating him up. I mean, I'm kind of sad this guy didn't help the kid. I mean, I guess you're taught to mind your own business in prison, right? And I mean, he probably regrets it, right? He probably regrets not doing anything because I know I would. My brother had 3 gold teeth. They were ripped out in the first 3 months of being in prison. He said he lost them in the fight, but a guard told us that he was probably held down and had them forcefully pulled out, judging by the damage to his gums. What the hell? Scary. There was this guy whose girlfriend broke up with him while he was inside. So just before we walked out to go to lunch, he had slit his wrists. His cellmate had to explain to the officer that he didn't do it, he did it himself. She broke up with him while he was in there. I mean, understandable, because he's probably in there for a reason. So she's just so disappointed. And she probably just doesn't want to wait, right? Wow. A guy we worked out with found out his dad killed his wife, mum and their children, and then killed himself. He went to his cell for a while, and after like 40 minutes he was screaming for help. Stumbled out of his cell with his wrist all cut up, and also cut up his neck real bad too. Unfortunately, he didn't make it more than a few steps out of his cell before falling and going unresponsive. I think it's the fact that he was in there and he couldn't do anything. You know, it's just like hearing the news. Yeah, you can't do anything. You can't even get out. So what do you do? So in his mind, he was just like, he might as well just join them. That's so sad. I was in for 12 years, got out in 2019. Older gentleman and fresh in was constantly crying and screaming about his dogs and how he misses them. Won't be able to pet them, just absolutely breaking down. His roommate got sick of the screaming and crying and ended up breaking the guy's hands and sawing his fingers off so he couldn't pet his dogs anymore. Oh my gosh, what? Imagine getting put in the same cell as some crazy freak. That just makes me sad too, you know? Like, imagine you're just in prison for something and you're probably going to be in there for 10 years and your pet's dead. You can't even say bye to them. Well, I guess these stories just literally tell you what not to do, you know? Don't complain. Actually, you can't even do anything, because even if you don't complain, you're minding your own business, you get beat up. Oh my gosh. So just pray you don't get a crazy cellmate. I mean, none of you guys should be going to prison anyways, right? Be good. Seriously, be good. Alright, be good. Well, that's it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Tell me in the comments down below what your thoughts are. And as always, thanks for watching. Hope you guys liked it, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!